Right here in front of me is my watch box. Two of these watches right here cost me about $25,000 or more in purchase value. The first one being this Rolex. It was one of my first bigger purchases, and then also this Cartier Santos. And the reason I'm actually pulling these out and talking about these publicly is because I want to help people, especially younger men, understand the difference of making money and using it as a tool and not making it an idol, and how I fell short of that as well. Here's the truth that nobody's telling you, especially on your timeline, is that you're using money as an idol and not a tool. And doing that can actually lead to more unhappiness, not happiness, and fulfilling you. Money is not the goal, money is not the flex, and money is not the scoreboard. When you actually start making money and building a business, you realize that just some big number is not the answer to everything. Because what if you're making a ton of money, but you're not bringing a lot home because you built this thing up, but it's also taking so much money to fund that? There are some people who make a really good, honest $10 to $15 to $20,000 a month as themselves, as freelancers, and they're happier, or they can be considered happier than the people who maybe their business is generating millions, but they're so stressed out every single day, and they're actually not bringing that much more home at the end of the day. Money is a tool, and like any tool, it only has value based on how you use it. So for example, like a hammer sitting in your tool shed, it doesn't build a house. And a dollar sitting in an ego, doesn't build a life. I started out with just like a $60 watch from Dillard's. I had watches before this, but I keep them in my box to remind myself of kind of the journey. Like a $60 fossil watch from Dillard's, and then ended up getting this Tissot, which I actually still love and would consider wearing this often, especially on some international travels. That was like $300-400. That's the PRX, I believe. So let's start with the Rolex story and what I've learned from it. This is the first watch, big boy watch that I got. We both said that when our business generates $1 million, that we would go buy a watch like this. I forget which one Marcus got in correlation to this one, but this is obviously the one I got, and I paid about $13,000 because I had to buy it aftermarket for this specific watch. That took real work. It took sacrifice to get to that point, and this was a true milestone of where we were getting. I use it as a marker saying like, hey, this is where we're at. This is what we built. Obviously that mindset is, it's not about you. It's also, you need to know God and say, God built this and allowed me to do this work. And here's why I really want to be honest with you, because if I'm not, then these videos I'm making are not truthful, and they're, at the end of the day, they're not going to help you out. My flesh wanted to post it. My flesh wanted to share it with the world. My flesh wanted others to see, hey, look, this guy has a Rolex. And for a moment, I let that drive me more than I wanted to admit. People you're trying to impress are not the people closest to you or the people you really want in your corner. It's usually the people that just scroll, see your thing, double tap, and scroll on by and go throughout their day. Honestly, some of the people closest to me, family or friends like that, they're not the most impressed with this. They're more impressed in the fact that I have a business that generates people, that pays people well, that I'm able to pay for things when others need help, or I'm able to take my family on vacations or trips, or I'm able to have a home to be able to host people and to be able to provide and give people feeling and love and support. Having a milestone and a marker is not a bad thing. People do it with maybe homes, they do it with cars, like, hey, whenever I make this much money, I'm going to get myself a car. I do not think that setting some of those things, like rewards, I would call it, are bad. I just think you need to have the right posture into knowing what those are. If you're like, hey, I want to make a ton of money so I can have the cars, the homes, the watches, make sure that's just not filling some void inside of you and filling something that you think is going to have some outside reflection of people and the way they're going to interact with you. Proverbs 11:2 actually says, when pride comes, then comes disgrace, but with the humble is wisdom. And I actually think now that we're buying certain things and you make a certain amount of money, you start to realize that money truly is a tool, and it helps you get that freedom. And you're able to, honestly, we just want to be more humble and under the radar and let the money be the tool that allows you to have that freedom and to be able to do things that you've always dreamed of. Next up, this is the Cartier Santos. This one was bought in Vegas. This is when we hit another milestone in the business. This was actually overdue. Both of these watches we got overdue of when we hit it, because we were both like, should we actually do this and spend the money on something like this? So Marcus has one that's a Santos. It's a different colorway and everything, but he has a matching Santos. Every time I wear it with more classier stuff. I look down and reminded of the hard work and the things we have done to be able to get something like this. The difference between an idol and a tool isn't always the object, it's the heart posture behind it. 1 Timothy 6:17 says, "Command those who are rich in this present world not to be arrogant, nor to put their hope in wealth, which is so uncertain, but to put their hope in God, who richly provides us with everything for our enjoyment." That's a good one. All right, so what does it actually mean to use money as a tool? Let me give you some actual practicality instead of just sitting here and telling you about these watches that I bought and stuff like that. Number one that I love the most is buying back your time. I really do think that looking back, what could I have done with money that I've spent on stupid stuff? You have all this time you do, and it goes from time that is spent on lower things that you don't make a lot of money on the business on, it does not have a lot of leverage, and then you have your things that you spend, if you spend time on it, you make a lot of money and it has a lot of leverage in the business. Start buying back this time down here, and now once you buy this, you're able to kind of move up this thing, and you'll continually do that. If you're just starting out, it can be very simple, from things like, I spend a lot of time every week meal prepping for the week, okay? What if you're making decent money and instead of spending that time doing that, maybe that's 5-6 hours between going to the grocery store, cooking everything, packing it, and blah, 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 blah. You could spend that time reaching out to people, getting clients, making ads, making content to reach out to expand your business. And what you're gonna do is you're just gonna pay to have that service done. Some meal prep, a local place, an online service, whatever it may be. I know, for example, my wife and I, having a cleaner come at least every other week or every month, or especially before or after we have a large group of people staying at our home, we love that. It just relieves stress. It takes time away from me having to come home and clean and help clean with my wife for half a day or whatever it may be. That for me is huge, because then I'm able to focus on things like this, scaling the business, doing sales, making content. Money spent buying back your time is one of the highest ROI things you can do at any level. But I think after the fact of managing the money that you have coming in, because I do see a lot of people that make good money, but they'll blow it on, stupid stuff or not manage it properly. That right there, you literally have money already and you're just spending it. Where if you cut back on spending and you're able to save money on certain things, that multiplies, and that is actually money you've literally saved. This might come as a surprise, but I think investing in other people's work to do the things with you, and it kind of goes with buying back your time, but let's just go say you have a decision to make between two people. This one's gonna cost $20,000 more a year, this person's $20,000 less a year, but hey, I could save some money and they might turn all right, but if I pay a little bit more, I think I'm gonna be able to really step back and have a lot more time and stress off my plate. To me, it would be worth paying $20,000 more a year. Here's something I want you to do before you go buy something that's more around being cool. Is it solving a problem, or is it signaling a status? Both aren't always wrong. You just need to know what you're doing. Have you ever had that like buyer's remorse? I think that's part of it. Just sit there and think, is this thing I want to do going to be worth it? And that's where I'm at right now with buying a vehicle. I still drive a Prius that was a hand-me-down from my wife's parents, because it's saving us so much money. We're able to chuck more into investments and paying off the home faster than I have another loan on a car, because our Porsche Macan S is paid off, and that is our fun driver that we both kind of get to share. My wife daily drives it, but whenever I get to drive, I have so much joy, because I'm going from this Prius that cost me literally like $30 a month to fill up, saves us so much money and allows us to do other things. And instead, in that moment, I'm like, I want to maybe get a Defender. I want to go get this other car. But is it more of like a status thing that I want to get right now? Or is this car just fine and it's going to get me to A to Z? It's going to get me to work and back home. I want to share with you Luke 16:11. It says, "So if you have not been trustworthy in handling worldly wealth, who will trust you with true riches?" Whew, that is actually one of my favorites, because it resonates with me back to what my uncle told me. He said, how is God going to trust you to be faithful in giving if you only have $10,000? What if you have $100,000, $1 million? If you can't be faithful with that $10,000 and be able to maybe give 10% of that, how are you going to be able to chuck away 10% of 100,000 or 10% of $1 million? Imagine that. That's $100,000. Now, it doesn't mean just giving away and tithing. It means how can you be trusted with true riches when you can't even do it with what you have now? All right, this last part here I call the idle trap. And here's what it kind of looks like in real life. I have bullet points listed down, so I'm going to be reading off my screen for a second. You buy things to fill a void that more things will never fill. You chase a number, a revenue goal, a follower count, a net worth, thinking that's when you'll feel like you're enough. You spend money on appearances before you spend it on foundations. And 4, you're more concerned with who sees your life than who your life is actually serving. That one is actually deep, and something that I personally need to work on is I'm more concerned sometimes with who is seeing my life and building an audience online, or seeing myself in public with different things, than what my life is actually serving. The other night at 4 a.m., my daughter, I held her, I picked her up, she was crying, and I rocked her back to sleep and I put her back down. She didn't want anything else. She just needed a little bit of love and attention to go back to sleep. I realized she was like, I only need that, Dad. Like, that's all I need right now. She can't talk, but I'm just saying, that's all I need. I don't need anything else. And it's kind of like what we need. God will feed us. The birds don't worry about what they're going to eat. You know, the whole Bible verse. You will be fed. You will be taken care of. Now, it might not be what you think. It might not be what social media tells you. But I promise you, if you stay focused on that and you serve God, you serve others, you're going to be well beyond where you're at now. The scary part is social media is designed to speed up every single one of those things. Matthew 6:24, no one can serve two masters. Either you will hate the one and love the other, or you will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. I think when you start making money, you realize that it is literally a tool. It is literally something that everyone is able to make. There are some people making exuberant amount more than me. And I need to be happy and content where I'm at. Not satisfied, because I know there is more that I can do. Wake up, work hard, be a man of God, and provide for my family. But it's the fact of serving with your heart. So here's what I want to leave you with today. These watches right here aren't the point. The milestones behind them are, I actually thought about selling both of these and putting the money elsewhere, but my wife said, you're going to regret it later on. People regret the things they actually did for milestones, which I truly believe I did buy these 90% out of. I did hit a milestone, and 10% of the ego part, which we're working on. Money is a tool, and it's one of the most powerful tools. And like any tool, when it's in the wrong hands, it can turn out to be something that hurts others, hurts yourself, hurts your family. For the right purpose, it can actually help build something extraordinary. So let's go out there, let's use it well, let's use it with intention, and use it in a way where when you look back, you can say, I actually built something with this. I have helped someone with this. I honored God with this. That's the move. Maybe there's someone else in your life that needs to hear this. Maybe there's a buddy. I have buddies that I'm going to share this with. It's a little bit longer of a video, so I appreciate you watching to the end. But I'm trying to make these videos that are more impactful and to really help others understand deeper things, and to just be honoring God and to hold each other accountable. So have a blessed one, and I'll see y'all later.